Hello, my lovely learners. I'm Anne from Polish Your English. Welcome to today's explainer, where we are going to master the absolute foundation of the English language. Honestly, every single adventure with English starts right here with the royal verb to be. We're going to look at exactly how it works, and I've brought along plenty of my own everyday examples to make it all super clear, wonderfully pleasant, and highly practical just for you. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the core rules, look at some real-life examples, share a few pro tips, practice our pronunciation, tackle those common traps, and finish up with a little practice task. Right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Core Rules. To begin, we really must meet the undisputed kind of English grammar. You see, the verb to be acts exactly like a monarch. It completely ignores the standard rules of English grammar and stands elegantly on its own. While other verbs desperately need little helpers like do or does just to ask a simple question, our king, well, he simply plays by his own laws. Let's look at how we build affirmative sentences. We have three main forms, am, is, and are. But notice how in everyday spoken English, like when I say I'm a teacher or she's late, we almost always use these short, contracted forms. It's a brilliant little shortcut that just makes your English sound so much more natural and relaxed. Now for negatives, we simply pop the word not right after the verb. But pay close attention here, because short forms absolutely rule the spoken language in these instances too. You can say she isn't or she's not, and they aren't or they're not. Both options are perfectly wonderful to use in your daily chats. Moving brilliantly along to Section 2. Real-life examples. So, how do we actually use this royal verb every day? Well, we use it constantly to describe the states that someone or something is in. For instance, we use it for nationality and origin, like saying they are from France. We also use it to talk about our states and feelings, like how we are happy in London on a particularly lovely, though perhaps reliably rainy, British afternoon. And this brilliantly illustrates how we describe physical features, character, and professions all in one breath. You can seamlessly say, my sister is tall, very smart, and, well, she is a teacher. Actually, she's also always right, but that's a story for another day. You see how you can perfectly paint a picture of someone using just this one single verb? It also perfectly pinpoints the location of objects. Just picture a thoroughly good book waiting for you on the table, right next to a nice warm cup of Earl Grey tea. If you want to tell someone where something is, the verb to be is quite literally your absolute best friend. Okay, let's dive into Section 3, Pro Tips. Now for a few cheeky secrets that will make you sound incredibly natural and help you avoid those classic beginner mistakes. I often hear learners ask, Anne, where did the word do go? I know in many languages, questions start with a special little word. But in English, for the verb to be, we don't use do you. Instead, we use a sophisticated yet beautifully simple trick called inversion. See how wonderfully simple it is when we just swap the subject and the verb? You start with the statement, you are hungry. To ask a question, you simply pick up the verb and pop it at the front. Are you hungry? Boom. No extra words needed whatsoever. Now the crucial point here, and this is a rather big trap for many learners, so listen closely, is how we answer. In short, affirmative answers, we never, ever use contracted forms. You must proudly and fully declare, yes, I am, not yes, I'm. However, in short negative answers, Contractions are very welcome, like, no, I'm not. When asking for specific information, simply put your WH word, like who, what, or where, at the very beginning of the sentence. But, and this is an absolutely crucial tip, do not forget to keep your inversion. A very common mistake is switching back to normal word order. It must always be where are you from, never where you are from, right? Next up, section 4, pronunciation. Let's quickly polish your pronunciation of a very specific, slightly quirky negative form that often confuses my students. While is and are join quite happily with not to become isn't and aren't, the word am stubbornly refuses to combine. This means the word amn't simply does not exist in standard English. Please don't try to invent it. The only short option you have is I'm not. Which brings us neatly to section 5, common traps. Now we come to the mental translation habits that trip up so many of my lovely Polish learners. Let's talk about age. I know perfectly well that in Polish you say, you have years. But in English, age is a state of being, not a possession. You do not hold your years in your pocket, do you? Because it is a state of being, you must literally say, I am 15 or I am 15 years old. The biggest trap is mixing them up. Never, ever combine them into I am 15 years. Oh, that hurts my ears. Keep it beautifully, elegantly simple. I am 15. Here is another wonderfully sneaky trap. Be incredibly careful with the apostrophe S. It looks identical, but has completely different meanings depending on the context. Check this sentence to see if it means the king verb is, as in Tom's late for tea again, or if it simply means possession, as in Tom's car, the rather loud car belonging to Tom. Also, please don't confuse existence with reference. We use there is or there are to simply say that something exists in the world, like there's a book on the table. But we use it is when we already know exactly what we are talking about. If I asked you where your absolute favorite novel is, you would say it is on the table. Make sense? Finally, section 6, practice task. We have reached the coronation moment where I hand the power over to you. To truly master this, I want you to mentally follow these 3 royal steps whenever you construct a new question today. First, pick your WH word. Second, apply that beautiful inversion to the verb to be. And third, practice answering using a short affirmative, remembering, of course, to avoid those contractions. I'm going to leave you with this cheeky little test. Can you fill in the blanks using the rules we just learned? And more importantly, can you answer it out loud right now? Give it a go. Thank you so much for joining me on Polish Your English for this explainer. Keep calm, keep practicing your to be, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.